Hey guys, today I'm going to show you how to install the Pace Edwards UltraGroove Electric on this 2017 Nissan Titan. Let's go ahead and get started. The first thing that we're going to need to do is take our wiring harness, and the side that's going to plug into our canister, we need to run that up through the bottom of our bed and then pull it out through one of the holes, and we're just going to set it to the side. But we need to make sure we do that before we install anything, otherwise it's going to be kind of hard to get our hand back there. The next thing that we need to do is remove our packing plywood from our canister. And that's going to be 2 3/8 inch bolts on both sides. Next, we need to elevate our canister in our bed. So what we did was we actually used the box that it came in, set that in the center, and then we set the canister on top of it. And then we're just going to slide it towards the back. And then we also are going to evenly space it in the bed. All right, so now we got our driver's side rail, and that's going to be the flat surface is going to go towards the canister. You're also going to have a seal that's going to go to the outside of the truck. If you flip it over, it's also going to say left at the bottom of it. But the first thing that we're going to do is remove this packing seal that's over our foam strip that goes along our rail. Once we got that removed, we can flip it back over, and we're going to meet it up with the grooves in our canister. Oops. So the rail is going to go on top of the actual blanket piece, and it's going to slide into the grooves in the canister. And if you've done that properly, it should slide all the way to the back, just like that. So now if you look underneath your canister and rail, there's going to be a hole, and you're going to use a bolt with a lock washer and a washer and thread that through. And as soon as you get that started, you can go ahead and tighten that down. And we're going to repeat that on the opposite side. Now we're at the cab end of our driver's side rail, and we're going to install our end cap. And that's just going to push right on, just like that. We're going to do that on both rails. All right guys, so the next thing that we're going to do is apply our bulkhead seal. Now we took a tonneau cover off this truck, so we already have one here, but to do that, all we're going to do is clean our bulkhead with some rubbing alcohol, and then we're going to remove the backing off of our seal and apply it from one bed cap all the way down to the other bed cap. So now with our bulkhead seal in place, we can push our canister all the way to the back of the truck, making sure that it's evenly spaced in between the bed. And then we can take our header piece, and we can set that into place. And your kit is going to come with 2 black screws that are going to line up with the captured nut that's in our canister. So we're just going to line those up. We're just going to leave that loose until we get both sides in. Now with both screws in place, we're going to push our header back so that it lines up with the back of our rails, and we're going to tighten down this bolt. We're going to do this on both sides. So now we're on our passenger side rail all the way at the tailgate, and we're going to use our spacer tool to measure the distance between the rail and the tailgate. Now your spacer tool is going to have 2 rectangular sides, a smaller side and a larger side. We're going to use the small side, and we're going to hold it up right to the end of this plastic piece under our rail, and then what you're going to want to do is lift up your tailgate and close it, and you're going to want to have those things meet up. So you're going to want your tailgate to slide right up against this piece. Now if there's not enough room to get your spacer in there, you need to move your rail back. If there's too much room and your spacer is kind of wiggling around in there, you need to move your rail forward until your spacer meets your tailgate. And you're going to want to do that on both sides. Next, we're going to install our clamp extensions to our passenger side rail. Now they're all going to be labeled we're going to want the one that's labeled FR for front right or front passenger. And we're going to slide that right to the bottom of our rail. We also want the one that says BR or back right. And you'll also notice that's going to have a set screw that's going to be facing towards the front of the truck. We're going to slide that one in as well. So we're going to slide our front extension about 6 to 8 inches away from our canister. We're going to use a 5/32 Allen head to tighten down our set screw, and that's going to lock our extension into place. Our back extension piece we're going to slide almost all the way to the back, and then again we'll go ahead and tighten down our set screw. Next, we're going to take our clamp grip and install that to the bottom of our clamp extension. And that's also going to have a set screw. We're going to go ahead and tighten that down with a 1/8 Allen wrench. So now we're going to do the same thing on our front extension. Slide that into place, tighten down our set screw. And then we can go ahead and repeat that on the opposite side. So next we're going to fully assemble our clamps. Now if you have the utility track system, you're going to use these blocks. If you don't have the track system, you're going to use these L brackets. And those are just going to fit up behind your bed cap and tighten down like they would normally. So we're going to use the blocks because we have the track system. So I'm just going to flip those around with my hole to the top, and I'm going to slide 2 of those in to the track system. So now, as you can see, there's going to be a little bit of a gap in between our clamp grip and our rail system. So what we need to do is actually use some spacers and shims. Now your kit's going to come with a bunch of these. What you need to do is refer to your instructions to see how far apart your rails need to be spaced, and then you need to use the appropriate amount of spacers for your model. I think I'm just going to go with the 1 thick spacer, and I'm going to put that right behind my clamp grip. And then I'm going to use a provided bolt with a lock washer and a regular washer. I'm going to go through the clamp grip, through the spacer block, and into my block in my track system. And I'm just going to hand tighten that right now. Now go ahead and repeat that on all the other clamps. Now with our clamps loosely installed, we want to make sure that we measure the back from rail to rail and that we get the number that it corresponds with our model in our directions. And then we want to also measure at our rear clamp to make sure we get the same number. As long as those match up, you're good to go, and we can tighten down our clamps. Now we can use a 7/16 ratcheting wrench and tighten down all 4 clamps. Now we're going to take our tailgate drain tube and match it up with our drain fitting. Connect those, and then our drain fitting is going to connect right to the bottom of our passenger rail. And then we're going to take the end and run it out through the hole that is right where our tie-down cleat is. We're going to do that on both sides. Canister drain tube, we're going to run one end out the hole where our tie-down is. And the other end is going to plug right into the bottom of our canister. You're going to do that on both sides. So now you want to make sure you run your wiring harness up your driver's side, and you're going to run it up to the battery and connect red to red and black to black. Now we can connect our plugs at the canister and test the operation of our cover. Alright guys, that completes the installation. If you have any questions, give us a call or visit us online. Thanks.